There is something that the most powerful people in the world do. Something so quiet, so invisible, that most people spend their entire lives on the receiving end of it and never once realize it's happening. Not in history books, not in any psychology class, not in anything they teach you growing up. And the reason they never teach you this? Because the people who understand it need you not to. Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists who ever lived, left behind a concept that most people read and never fully absorb. He called it the persona, the mask. Not a metaphor, a mechanism, a deliberate psychological construction that the powerful have used, consciously or unconsciously, to control everything around them. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how it works, and I promise you, by the time this video ends, you will never see people the same way again. My name is Clems. This channel is Realities. And what I do here is go into the psychological and philosophical forces that are quietly shaping your life, whether you're aware of them or not. Today we are going deep into something ancient, something Machiavelli wrote about in 1513 when he advised the rulers of Italy, something Nietzsche called the will to power, something Carl Jung mapped in the human psyche and named the persona and the shadow, something Robert Greene decoded across 3,000 years of history in the 48 laws of power. We're not just going to name it, we're going to dissect it completely. We're going to show you how it operates on you right now. And then, and this is the part most people never get to, we're going to show you how to use it without losing who you are. If you've never subscribed, this is the video to do it on. Let's go. In 1921, Carl Jung introduced a concept that would quietly become one of the most important ideas in the history of psychology. He called it the persona. The word comes from ancient Greek theater. It literally meant the mask actors wore on stage. Jung's argument was this: every human being wears a mask, not because they are liars, but because surviving in a social world requires you to curate what you show. The version of you at work is not the same version at home. The version you show your parents is not the version your friends see. The version you show strangers is not the version that exists at 3 a.m. when you are alone with your thoughts. This is not hypocrisy. This is not weakness. This is the human condition. But here is where it gets dangerous. Most people wear the mask unconsciously. They don't choose what they show. They just react. Emotion, circumstance, other people's behavior, all of it decides what version of them comes out. Powerful people do not do that. Powerful people have made a deliberate, almost ruthless decision about their persona. They have decided what you will see, what you will feel when you are around them, what you will believe about who they are. And they protect that construction the way a general protects the most strategic point on a battlefield. Nietzsche called this the will to power, the drive not just to survive, but to shape reality itself. And the most powerful form of shaping reality is shaping what other people perceive as real. Machiavelli, writing to the princes of Renaissance Italy, put it more brutally. It is not necessary to have all good qualities, but it is very necessary to appear to have them. Read that again. It is not necessary to have all good qualities, but it is very necessary to appear to have them. That is not cynicism. That is one of the most honest things ever written about power. The first thing every powerful person hides is the struggle. Not because they don't struggle, they do, deeply, violently, sometimes desperately. The difference is you never see it. The panic at 2 a.m. when the business is collapsing happens alone. The doubt before the decision that changes everything never leaves the room. The fear that they might be completely, catastrophically wrong, buried. What you get is the composed version, the finished product, the performance of certainty. Robert Greene documented this across 3,000 years of history in the 48 Laws of Power. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. Law 26. Keep your hands clean. These aren't just clever tactics, they are descriptions of a psychological posture that the powerful have maintained across every culture, every era, every civilization. You control the narrative by controlling what information people have access to. Erving Goffman, the sociologist who mapped this scientifically in 1959, called it impression management. His argument, all of social life is a performance. The question is never whether you're performing. The question is whether you're doing it consciously or letting other people write your script. Now, here is the part that will make your stomach drop slightly. Because what I have described so far, hiding the struggle, protecting the image, sounds like just building walls. But walls create distance, and distance creates distrust. So powerful people don't just hide, they also selectively reveal. They give you just enough vulnerability to feel connected, just enough humanity to feel like they trust you, just enough realness to make you feel special, but never, never anything that could be used against them. They will share the story of a past failure, but only after they have already won. They will admit to a weakness, but one that sounds like a strength in disguise. They will seem open, relatable, transparent, and you will feel close to them. You will feel like you know them. That feeling of closeness is part of the strategy. Jung's concept of the shadow is critical here. The shadow is everything we hide, our fears, our contradictions, our private chaos. The truly powerful person knows their shadow completely. They have sat with it, understood it, made peace with it, and then, with surgical precision, they choose which fragments of it to let you see. Enough to make you feel trusted, not enough to make you dangerous to them. This is why charismatic leaders in politics, in business, in religion, in your personal life make you feel like they are speaking directly to your soul, like they understand you in a way nobody else does. They are being real, just not completely. And the part they are keeping back? That is exactly what keeps them in control. I need you to think of one person in your life right now, a boss, a partner, a parent, a friend who always seems to have the upper hand. Hold that person in your mind. Now sit with these questions honestly. First, do you feel like you know them, but never quite fully? Like there is always a layer just beyond your reach? That gap is not accidental, it is maintained. Second, when they struggle, Do you usually find out after it is already resolved? Do they only ever show you pain that has already been survived? That is the hide the struggle mechanism working exactly as designed. Third, has this person ever shared something personal that made you feel deeply trusted, but when you look back, it gave you nothing you could actually use? That is curated vulnerability, intimacy without exposure. Fourth, do you find yourself working harder for their approval than they ever work for yours? That asymmetry is not a personality trait. It is not natural chemistry. It is engineered. I am not telling you this to make you paranoid. I am telling you this because most people who live under someone else's perception control feel permanently off balance, permanently slightly less than, permanently reaching for something just out of reach. And they think that feeling is their fault. It is not your fault. It is a system. And now you can see the system. Now the question that changes everything. Is this manipulation or is this wisdom? Because everything I have described today exists in every powerful person you have ever respected. Every leader, every mentor, every person who seemed to have it figured out. Machiavelli would say, this is simply the nature of power. The world responds to appearances. Jung would say, the persona is not the enemy. Losing yourself inside it is. Nietzsche would say, it is not enough to have strength. You must project it, or it does not exist. Here is where I land. Perception control is a tool, and like any tool, it is defined entirely by the intention behind it. Used selfishly, it becomes a weapon, keeping people confused, dependent, smaller than they should be. Used wisely, it becomes self-mastery, choosing what you show the world, not from fear, but from clarity. The goal is not to become someone no one can touch. The goal is to become someone no one can destabilize. There is a difference. One is armor, the other is roots. Build roots. You have been on the receiving end of this your entire life, from people you trusted, from systems you believed in, from relationships that felt completely real. That is not weakness. That is just what happens when no one ever teaches you to see. But now you're seeing. On my Patreon, link in the description, I take this much further. How to build your own perception control. How to protect your inner world without becoming cold or distant. How to project power authentically, not as a performance, but as a practice. And how to identify in real time when this is being used on you in your closest relationships right now. That is the level of conversation I have with the people who are serious. The link is below. If this video made something click for you, share it, drop a comment, tell me which part hit the hardest. See you over there.